Hello, everybody, and welcome back. So, when we last left our adventure, we were busy trying to make a bubble column for the spawner trap. So, we're just gonna finish doing that. Let's go back for a minute. Okay, so one of the things I'm gonna need is a few signs. The signs are necessary for the water column because you want to have a water column going straight up, but you don't want it spilling out into the chute where the zombies are coming from, because it'll just push them back there and they'll never go up the water column. So, yep, gotta build a few signs. And let's go put them where they need to go. So, I think I need to get rid of that one. Haven't actually done these in a while, and sometimes it takes me a minute or two to remember exactly what I'm doing. But anyways, as you see, we need to make sure we block off that area. Okay, let's just build a temporary stairway up here so we can get up and down as we need to. And I think I'll use a slab. Now, I know that for a skeleton farm I would need to use a slab here. I could probably use some solid full block there, but just for now I'll use a slab. Doesn't really matter, I suppose. The skeletons are a little bit higher than zombies, so they're more than 2 blocks tall, which means you have to have clearance for them. So, anyways, what will normally happen now, when a skeleton spawns, it'll just drop somewhere in the water stream or in the chute, and it'll either be pushed to the chute or, once in the chute, down the chute to the soul sand. Because there is a gate 1 block before the soul sand, it'll push the mob upwards towards where the bubble stream's going to be. Now I think it's time to start looking at the tripwire hooks. So, over here, let's hollow out a little bit more room. Like I said before, I think I'll build a perimeter around the whole farm once I've got the farm up and running, but this is the start of where the redstone stuff needs to go. So, I'll have to hollow that up and make a way up there. For starters, let's just make a bit of room. Okay. Okay, now I think it's time to go get some things we need for the tripwire hooks. We'll be back in a second. Alright, string. And redstone. There, that should be good. Okay, so let's head back down. Now, essentially what we want to do is we want to have a tripwire hook at the same level as the upper block of the mob going over the spawner. So from one side to the other. So there'll be a tripwire hook on each end, and there'll be string in between all of them, connecting them. And what'll happen is when that string is passed through by a mob, it will cause a redstone signal to come out from the tripwire hook. So that redstone signal, we're going to take a redstone line and run it up above the ceiling over to where the trapdoor is. So it'll have to run onto the block that the trapdoor is attached to. And when that happens, it'll cause the trapdoor to open as long as the redstone signal's on, spilling some water. The water will spill down and flush the mob off of the edge. So, maybe tough. Yes. Tough is a nice block to pillar with because it breaks quite easily. Okay, so it's starting to look pretty good in here. Got the spawner all surrounded by the appropriate trapdoors. Now we just got to start building that tripwire hook in. So, let's make our way up here. Yeah, just make 100% sure that we're in front of the spawner. Okay. Now, boop. And string. 1, 2, 3, 4. tripwire hook. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So you can tell that the tripwire hook is connected properly when they both go down like that. Now, as you see, if I wander through that string, it pulls the tripwire hook. So let's finish off the redstone signal part of this now. Doesn't really matter what I fill it up with, but... Okay. So all we need to do is we just need to hollow it out all the way to that trapdoor. I think this is probably far enough. Yep. Where is it? There we go. Okay. Now, you see that there's light coming through there, right? So we got to make sure that we cover this up in such a way that there's... Actually, I don't need to do any of that. So yeah, just we have to make sure that we block the light, because otherwise light up from up here, when the redstone signal goes on, will affect spawn rates down below. Anyways, let's put our redstone dust down. So, just to test the redstone part of it, let's walk up and look at that. Well done. Okay, let's clear this tough out here. Love it. Leave a torch there though, while we're building. The worst thing is if things start spawning while you're busy building the farm. You have to fight your way through. Okay. So next we need to think about the water stream. And ultimately, it matters where we put the drop chute. So I think I want to stick it right around here. Well, I changed my mind. I actually want it to be a lot closer. So what we'll do is we'll finish setting up this bubble column here. Now, I'm going to break this block, and the reason why... Oh, shoot. Anyways, the reason I want to break one block behind where the soul sand is because that will pull mobs towards the soul sand. So when a mob makes its way down to the soul sand in the first place, it'll get pushed part of the way there, and it'll basically come up on the... excuse me, it'll come up like almost on the soul sand. So by creating a water stream pulling away from that, it'll actually suck the mob all the way onto the soul sand. And I'm going to put that there. I'm pretty sure I don't need to use a half slab. Alright. Now, as you can see, I've set up, let's see here. Yeah, I think I want it here. So let's collect these up again. All right. That's a good spot. So now this hopper here is going to be where the zombies are going to fall to. So what I like to do is I like to take 21 blocks of something, and I use them to go upwards from there. So, let's see here. You just got to make sure that you know how far it's going to be, right? So, just need a little bit of water here. Oops, fell down. I'll try and remember to grab that later. Okay, so what we're going to do now is we're going to build up, well, I would want to build up 22 blocks. I only have 21 of these, but what I like to do is I like to take 22, normally, I would take 22 of some sort of block that I know is different than all the other blocks I'm working with, and different than the surrounding area, and I would use that to pillar up with, and that way I know I'm exactly the right height that I want to be. So in this case, we'll go up 21, and then we'll just go up one extra block as well. That is the disturbing sound of a zombie from somewhere. Not sure where. I'll probably have to run around and do a bit more proofing to make sure everything's okay. But anyways, boop, boop. Now, as you can see, I had started building a tunnel before coming from the other direction. So in this case, what we do is we'll stick a water stream there. Block off this other part here because we don't want anybody. Let's see here. You see anything really, but this is where the actual drop chute is going to be, not further back like I had originally planned. The fence gate there will stop water from flowing, and actually what I really need to do, so you need to kind of do it this way to start with here. You put a water source one back, and that will push zombies forward. Next, we are going to dig down, all the way down to the piece of soul sand that we have. It's going to be a bit of a drop. That's okay. One little trick you can do to give yourself some air for a minute when you need it is to place a block above your head, which cuts off the water stream and creates just basically an air pocket, right? Because the source block of water is way at the top. So if you just cover your head, then you get a breath of fresh air for a while. And that's important to do if you don't have respiration on your helmet, because you will run out of oxygen, like so. So give yourself lots of breathing time. And let's make our way down. I'm not sure how much. There we go. Perfect. Okay. So now what we're going to have to do also is we're going to have to block in that water, because once we change these to source blocks, it's all pretty much going to become, water blocks. And when it's the source water block, it's going to spill everywhere. When the water source is way up high, the water could just go straight down, right? But when it's a source block, it spills out in all four directions, all four sides, as well as going downwards. We don't want that. Now, let's see here. Yeah, tinted glass there is good. We should be able to get away with glass on this side because the tinted glass will, on the other side, will keep the spawner from getting any light seeping into it. So, let's just build up a bit here. Once again, once we have more glass and more resources, we can make this much better. All right. Now, we take our kelp, as mentioned before. We use this in our other bubble column, and bring it all the way up to the top. So, now we go down and bust it. And if we did it right, which we did, the bubble stream will carry us all the way up to the top now. One of the biggest reasons we're building this farm in the first place is because I want to be able to do some enchanting, some much better enchanting, and you need experience to be able to do that. So probably, I'll spend some time between videos enchanting and leveling up my gear just to make it better. But yeah, for now what I have is good enough, but it's definitely preferable to get something faster than this. So finish clearing up a little bit of area here. Now let's fix this wall on the other side here. There we go. Good. Yeah, let's just fix it all. I'll either deal with that pocket by totally clearing it out, or else maybe I'll leave it there as, sort of an aquarium or something. Now let's see if we can squeeze that in there somehow. Nope. Try again. Boop, boop. There we go. The wall looks normal again. Okay, what else? What else? We should probably make ourselves a way out here for a second. What else? Let's get rid of the torches. Or at least most of them. Let's see it in action. What a lovely sound. Oh, actually, a bit premature. Let's light that up again. So we need to get rid of the seaweed. Boop. Oh yeah, and because the seaweed wasn't, the seaweed was in the way, so there wasn't a bubble column. That little zombie managed to get behind there. That shouldn't really happen now that it's operational. So it'll come all the way up. Zombie would have otherwise fallen down the chute there. So let's hollow that out there. And so yeah, essentially you want them to drop 22 blocks because that makes it so that they only have enough health left for a one-hit kill. Pretty much. There's a little bit of a difference if they get bumped or they're jostled on the way down too. Like I think they take a little bit less or a little bit more damage. I'm not totally sure. I think it's less. But for us, 22 blocks is ideal. And what we'll do is we will build a slightly bigger kill chamber. I like to build a 3-wide kill chamber because it allows you to have more mobs sitting there. You don't have to, you don't have to wait for all of them to fall down and then swipe them as fast, right? You can wait 3 times as long. It's just something that I find nicer to deal with. You can, of course, let them all fall into a single chute, but in Minecraft there's a concept called entity cramming. So in entity cramming means that in a given block of space, only a certain number of creatures can exist before they start taking damage. And I think it's 22. Actually 24. It's probably 24. So once 25 creatures exist in the same block space in Minecraft, then one of them starts taking damage and eventually dies. So it means that at most your farm will only ever have 24 mobs in it at a single time. If you have 3 spaces for them to go into, however, that is 72 possible mobs. So 72 mobs you can kill in one swing as opposed to, 24 at a time. So it's not a big deal, and it still takes time for those mobs to get there, but you can sort of wander off and do something else for a little bit longer than you otherwise would be able to. So I'm going to block this in just to be safe. The small zombies should not actually be able to get through. It's pretty low. I actually really want to look at the spawner while it's working, so I might change this. Anyways, indecision. I'll take it out for the moment. What if I... Let's do that. Then you can see better. Yeah. Anyways, we're going to be cutting their feet off. Yeah. Okay. Those slabs are kind of irritating. Anyways, let's get a look and see how it performs. Let's make our way out of here. Oops. Block that off. Appropriate blocks. Oh, there's our first victim. Well, more than one hit, but not much. Yeah, I like that this is coming along. As a side note, entity cramming is something you can use for a lot of fun things. So, first of all, it's good for hostile mob farms, but secondly, it's also good for passive mob farms as well. So, for instance, if you have 24 chickens in one area and another chicken gets added to it, it'll kill off one of the existing chickens. And when you have non-hostile mobs, for some reason, the game kills off the adult ones first. So, in that way, you can... I'm going to keep changing my mind about this. Anyways, in that manner, you are able to create a mob farm where Spencer that, fires eggs into a chamber. Those eggs will occasionally turn into a baby chicken, and those baby chickens will grow up. So eventually at some point you'll have 24 adult chickens in there, and you chuck in an egg, and all of a sudden there's another baby chicken. That makes 25, so one of the adult ones dies. And if you have these chickens situated above a hopper, forgot to fill that in, chickens situated above a hopper, then it will automatically collect the chicken meat and feathers. You know? So the other thing about entity cramming is, you know, one minecart with TNT in it is pretty bad, but with entity cramming and a rail, you can actually get 24 minecarts in one little area. So it's great for big explosions. So yeah, anyways, entity cramming is a useful game mechanic. And by the way, I'm putting these glass blocks along the side because that way, if for some reason one of the mobs dies and their drops sort of spill off to the side, they won't fall out, right? They'll still get caught by one of the 3 hoppers in front. So here we have our lovely spawner spawning. You notice 4 zombies all dropped at the same time there. This time none of them were on top of the spawner itself, but I have seen it work, so well done on that. Anyways, I kind of get a kick out of watching them zip all the way up and then fall all the way down. Now, they don't all seem to be one-hit kills, but I think that I'll leave it the way it is for now. I will eventually have a smite sword, which will hurt them even more, and hopefully we'll add looting to that as well at some point. But you can see my levels are now much better than they were before, which is good. And I also expanded this up a little bit so we can watch them make the whole journey. So, whoop, all the way up to the top, over to the side, and down to the killing chamber, where we walk over and swipe whenever we feel like it. Pretty good so far, right? We've done our job correctly in setting up the spawner. It seems to be performing quite admirably. And the chest below is picking up all of the drops. Some of the junk in there is stuff that I dropped while constructing and whatnot, but you get the idea. Now, I usually like to have, near a zombie spawner, I'd like to have a furnace of some sort, or even a blast furnace, because a lot of times you'll get golden and iron items coming through. You can take those and you can actually smelt them, as well as potatoes. And if you want to get technical, I guess, as well as chickens too. Chickens sometimes appear in this spawner because the zombie riding chickens is a thing. So, anyways, I could replace that with an iron trapdoor. I just ran out of iron at the time I was building. So, yeah, anyways, I think that's going really well. Time to go and chat. Alrighty, let's see what we can get here. Ooh, sweeping edge, and... oh well, that's too bad. Anyways, I'll probably create multiple versions of items and enchant them as much as I can. The other thing I'll probably do is move an enchantment area down to the zombie spawner because it's so much easier than coming all the way back upstairs to do it. Anyways, I'll talk a little bit more about the science of enchanting in a later video. There's a lot of videos on the internet that you can look up on YouTube that describe how enchanting works, but basically it's random. You can have 3 different levels of enchantment, like it either use 1 or 2 or 3 of your player levels, and you will come up with, you know, some random collection of enchantments on a sword or on a helmet and whatnot. But basically, like, the idea is you probably want to use the grindstone to unenchant when you don't get exactly what you want or close to what you want. And if you do get close to what you want, set it aside and hopefully combine it with another weapon. But you have to have enough levels. So, anyways, that should probably do it for this episode. I hope you had a good time, and I hope to see you next time. And everybody stay safe, stay healthy, and take care. Cheers.